He kōna I purangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Takiri mai te ata, kōrihi mai te manu, ka pō, ka ao, ko te ao u, ko te ao ea, ko te ao oti, ko te ao tutuki, ko te awa te ati, hei, mauri ora.
E te ti, e te tā, nau piki mai, nau kake mai, rere mai ki roto I tēnei whare o te ti rairaka. Kua tēnei ko Justine Murray, kua te kai whakariti o tēnei punua pāho Paewhiri. Nō reira, nau piki mai, nau kake mai, and it's lovely to have you join us here on our podcast, Paewhiri, and also the radio show here on Te Reo Irirangi or Moana Radio, as well as RNZ National. Oh, right, man, I feel like we've all been sort of busy and it's been a little bit hectic. How are we all feeling in the space today? Nairo.
Feeling like I just came out of wash, rinse, repeat, like for 2 weeks. Still breathing, still moving, still hikaka ears. Let's just do this.
Oh, I love
Tēnā
it.
ko te whānau whakarongo mai nei ki tā tātou pāpāhotanga.
And matua, how are we faring in this, I don't know, in the month of Oketopa?
Oketopa, spring, yeah, time to start planting in the marae.
Got the spring in the step?
Yep, a little bit of spring. Now and then it's a hop.
Not a, what is it? Not yet a wattle yet.
Not a waddle.
No.
Not quite yet, yeah.
Oh, no,
I keep picturing penguins and ducks, eh? And that seems to be where I'm heading as you get older. You know, instead of just striding nice and easy, I'll end up like them.
Lucky you're a swimmer.
Bit of a whittle and a waddle here and there.
Oh.
But I did have my first swim yesterday.
I tell you, man, ever since daylight savings has kicked in, I feel a little bit of, I feel a bit energised from
The extra sunlight.
The extra sunlight.
Yeah, no, I don't like daylight saving.
Oh, why?
Because it's still daylight at 9 o'clock, and that's more hours you got to be outside working. Otherwise, you get a growling when you go inside and want to relax and watch TV.
Fair enough, matua.
Hey,
yeah, I don't
Tamanui
have that.
Te Rā is still smiling. There's plenty work outside.
Oh, you know, you're actually true, but I don't know, just something like 5 o'clock, it's obviously like 6:30, it feels like it's 5. This whole thing about time, Time. Anyway, our kaupapa e te whānau, our kaupapa wasn't spring and koanga and marakai, although that could be, future podcast kaupapa. I went along with my whānau to the Turangi recently for the tangihanga of Arakinui Tumu te Heuheu, Tūkino te Tuawaru, and I went along with my whānau, about maybe 30 of us, and one of the rules there was please do not go live, no recordings, no taking photos, no filming, put your phone in your pocket. It was, obvious from the online social media program. And I went there and we went on with Mātātua, Tauranga Moana. There's about maybe 200 of us, maybe 300. And no one was using their phones and everybody adhered to that tikanga. So I thought we could talk about the role of social media at our kaupapa, which obviously has changed dramatically in the last, say, 5 to 10 years. So koe rā te kaupapa o te hōtaka. I mean, let's do a huri haere. Nairo, what do you reckon?
Tēnā koe te tuahine, te tō mai o tātou whakaaro ki tō tātou āriki, koe te rā I riro I te wiki. Kua hipa, engari mihi tonu ana ki tana puki tūranga, ki tana tamaiti ki a te ranga mea Heuheu. Te Heuheu Tūkino te tuahiwa. Kia tauhi hōnā manaakitanga o te wāhinaro ki runga ki aia, o te rā ki runga ki te whānau e pani nei. Me kia ke ki te motu tonu e pani tonu ana. Nā mate e whakaea ana te wāhi kia koutou, tēnā koutou. Tātou e titoko nei te ao. Marama e tū nei, e huri nei. Tēnā tātou. Thanks for bringing us back on kaupapa, Auntie. Okay, so I didn't make it down to the tangi, but it's good to hear that our rohe was well represented, as I always was confident it was going to be. I was still on the wash, rinse, repeat cycle, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he paitera kia hau, he paitera tikanga kia hau. I think drawing limits around social media use, especially in an event like that, that's close, intimate, personal, regardless of the amount of profile publicly, I think that's that creates an important model in terms of how we can manage what goes in, what goes out in terms of the messaging. I've always had thoughts on the overuse or the managed use and mismanaged use of social media and our ability nowadays with the technology we have in the palm of our hands. E hari te mea hau, I te mea he rite anō etahi tikanga ki runga o Tūranga Waiwai. They don't allow lives on Tūranga Waiwai either. I had to tell someone next to me to turn their phone back off.
Ka pai you.
Wow. It was whānau, so.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just taking a video. No, you're not allowed.
Yeah.
Oh, aren't you? He tikanga nui tēnei. So, e hari te mea hau, but I think it's an important lesson we can take out. I'm really excited that we're having a little kōrero about it today.
Yeah. And I like it how because there was that sense of, when I was at the marae at Tāpeka, I was like, I could see people go, no phones. So not only were they adhering to the rules,
self-managing,
they were actually telling their kids or their whānau to like put your phones away, even though it could seem like they were checking texts, messages. And I was looking around going, wow, no one is on their phone.
Courtesy isn't dead, e te whānau. It just needs to be clarified from time to time.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely. Matua, where do you sit on this whole, social media going lives and the rules at marae? And you tikanga hau pia, yeah.
Human communication's a big thing about, the use of phones. For myself, every tangihanga I go to, it's a common practice. I do not take my phone with me onto the marae. I leave it in my truck. Yeah, and to me, it's a respect thing. A respect thing for the whānau pani, for their deceased, for the local people as well. You get people that want to say, put your phone away, You're not allowed to use the phone away, but some people can't do that. So I think this communication thing, if you had a wātene, just send them out to the gate just to let them know, no live screen, no video, no nothing. I mean, it's not hard to just leave your phone. It's like the phone has become part of your body now.
Absolutely.
Everywhere
It's
you
a
go,
third appendage.
you see people carrying their phones.
Yep.
It's like their second ngako, their second mano. They got to have it.
I must admit, me pono taku kōrero, I did pull out my phone only to double check the lyrics of the waiata I was about to sing. So, I was about to stand with to tautoko the whānau, Uncle Turi and Charlie. So I did have a look at but that was the only time I pulled out my phone is to check my lyrics, my kupu.
So there's a lesson in that.
Oh, you had to listen.
Learn the word before you go down there.
You know what? It's a weird thing because, I know the words, but there's nothing like sitting up and going to sing it
Visual
in front
reinforcement,
and sing it in front of 100 or so, actually probably 300 people. That gets the nerves going for me. So, that's why.
I understand. I would say at that point that you don't know the words.
I did. It was just the last two sentences that I was a little bit confused. Anyway.
It's probably another session, and we
Wow.
yipped a little bit about some of the things we're going to do a
Trying
bit
to
later
keep it
on.
real, whānau. I did bust out my phone, but just to check my lyrics.
Beautiful.
Ka
I'm
pai.
only judging. That's all I'm doing.
Kai whakawā. Okay, it's whānau. We'll take a little break. This is Paewhiri. More kōrero coming up next. And don't forget, if you have any pātai kōrero, you can email us podcast@rnz.co.nz.
Boosh.
Pai tū, pai hinga, nā wai rā kauti. Anei te punua pāoho o Paewhiri.
Tēnā tātou katoa e te whānau. This is Paewhiri, our podcast here on RNZ National and Moana Radio. You can listen to us via Apple, Spotify, YouTube even, e te whānau.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Now, kaupapa is about social media and the marae, inspired by the tikanga, the rules that the whānau ki Ngāti Tū Wharetua put in place during the tangihanga of Arikinui Tumu te Heuheu, Tūkino te tua waru, and I was inspired to bring that kaupapa to the tepu of Paewhiri and have a kōrero, because I was speaking to one of the uncles after. I was speaking to him as we were walking out of the wharekai, and he goes, you know what, it's so great because no one's going live on their phone, no one's recording it, and he felt that he wasn't on show to the world, he was just on show at the marae, so there's a safety net almost, like a certain haumarutanga, if you will, when you know people are not allowed to record you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Just with the prevalence and the sheer penetration of social media these days, the pressure is huge if you've got a phone stuck in your face, or that people are running around with photos. If you're conscientious of these things, because of course someone gets to direct the story, not necessarily with your say-so or your approval or even a chance to have a look. So I think that uncle who was feeling good about it probably reflected a lot of the feelings around other people that were feeling like that. I remember Praone talked one time about
Tangihanga ki whariroa, te wai matia korokehi.
I can't remember if it was that one, but it was he knew the hui was being recorded, and he made comment during the whai kōrero that he wasn't asked permission if his kōrero was allowed to be taken. So there's a whole lot of other things inside there, but probably a big part is sovereignty of your kōrero, and it leans over into the tapu of the kōrero, if the kōrero are tapu.
Yes.
I remember we talked about something when at the end of the coronation of Te Ariki Nui, nā whanganui nā kōrero, nā whanganui te whakatepe i te pai, whanganui completed the pai kōrero. And the taunaki, or the kinaki for the speaker, was a poi atua, which was just laden with whakapapa. And
Kia te poi atua?
He pene te poi manu. So nā iwi o te hauāuru, when they do different waiata, different karakia, whakapapa, recitation, stuff like that, sometimes they use poi as part of the delivery. Yeah, and he made mention that this coming section is not to be recorded. And so what happened on the live cast, they immediately cut shot to a different part of the marae, killed the sound, and put something over the top of it.
Oh, for the actual media feed, not just...
For the media feed, for anyone. So even for the kingitanga media space as well, because it's the kingitanga was managing the media space there. So they had their own capture and their own lives and their own people working the media space.
Yeah.
Yeah, so highly managed, but I thought there was a really good point.
For somebody to speak and having to, have a kaupapa in front of this person and then have the added nous or to say no recording, that's that must be a bit hoha, or just you have to be really So matua, for example, if you stood up on the pai and said, because obviously, very learned in whakapapa, and you didn't want your whakapapa recorded on the pai tapu, would you have that thing to say, tēnā koutou, no recording, I mui te tuku, or how would you handle that situation?
Yeah, I would probably let them know.
Yeah.
Because the whakapapa is a personal thing to the hapu, to the whānaus, that, heke mai I te warātou tūpuna.
Yeah.
When people want whakapapa, they come to me directly at home.
Yep.
And then I talk to them face to face and give them what I know and things like that. But if I see it on the marae, I would tell them.
Yeah.
I quite often do that with ropi that I take around for historical narratives and cultural trails, and just let them know, okay, kei te pai, you can take all the photos you want, you can record for your own learning, but this is not for social media. This is for you because you putting in the effort to be here. Anyone else who might have wanted to be here but is not here, they're not here.
Yeah.
So this is just for the ones, this haerenga, this kōrero is just for us now. Yeah. And I think it's important to establish context when you're transmitting knowledge, because this is part of the danger around some of the social media use. That borders on irresponsible, from bordering irresponsible to straight irresponsible, is that you can snippet stuff. Sound bites. And it just rips it all out of context. Oh, but they said that. Yeah, but it's sitting inside this kōrero where it makes sense.
Yep.
You're just listening to this 10-second bite,
Yep.
which of course sounds a bit alarming. But if you sit it inside the deeper kōrero, then it makes full sense. And I think there's a lot of us, myself included, sometimes just get caught out by flashy bylines, and the lights, the camera action sort of catches us out.
Yeah.
Sort of takes away our discernment.
And honestly, te whānau, I'm a producer at RNZ. I've been in this business since 25 years now, and I've been growled a lot in my career. I have been growled a lot. I've been. Why are you chosen that song?
Because I'm judging.
Oh God! Here we go.
Go, auntie. This is a safe space.
It is a safe space. And, and that's the thing, safe spaces, yes. I think, is one of the key words in our podcast today because, I've been at situations where I've me ata tūpato e te whānau because if you're in the media and you have dealt with a person called Jane, she's the organiser, Jane's like, you can record this. I give, kei te pai, you can record. But the speakers do not know that they are being recorded because I checked after and I said, just to let you know, matua, that I've recorded your kōreros for, to be, and he said, and who said you could do that? And there was a lesson, what was the lesson in that? It was just like, double check, don't assume.
He tapurana kei roto i te whakapapa neha. Whakapapa can be taught, whakapapa can be learned.
Yep.
And those that are passionate about whakapapa, they will contain and hold that whakapapa in their head. Those ones who aren't able to hold that whakapapa, will he tohu ke tērā. So we got to be careful with whakapapa because people can use whakapapa in different ways. I mean, it's all right to know who you are, where you come from, your extended whānau, hapu and all that sort of thing. But then, it can be used in the courts for different things as well. We talk about land, claiming land, things like that, and that's where this whakapapa is used in front of the court.
It's an important kōrero there, Chief. And I'll bring this up with my tauira and even whānau as well. We just have to be cognizant of the things we're sharing through our devices. Because it's, sometimes it borders on haere kōrero, which is not an appreciated taonga of te ao Māori e Homa.
Isn't it?
Yeah. No.
I love a little bit of haere kōrero. No.
I'm sure we all love it, but it's like, it's like sugar. It's not good for us.
And on that note, let's go to a quick break. This is Paewhiri.
Pai tū, pai hinga, pai kare, pai whiri.
Te iwi e te whānau, nau mai hoki mai ki Paewhiri. You can hear about us on all those platforms that Justine talked about because I've forgotten what they are, but nau mai hoki mai ki tēnei nā podcast at rnz.co.nz. Generally speaking, e te whānau, if you've got that, you're locked in. E hoa mā, kei te kōrero mātou mo te pai pāpori me te whakamahi te hangarau. Kaua noi ho mo te pai pāpori kei te kōrero ke mātou mo te whakamahi nā hangarau ki nā wāhi tapu, ki te tapuranga o te hui. We're talking about use of devices nowadays and pulled over a couple of really heavy, what would you say, kaupapa? Maybe examples that sort of show a bit of glimmer in the pour when we're using pai pāpori and how that can sometimes go quickly wrong. So we talked about Tumu te Heuheu's tangi, we talked about use on tūranga waiwai. Why aren't we talking about that sort of level of protection of our kōrero on our own marae? It's probably be the next question for me, it would be to take this conversation back to the whānau. Why are we living a tūpāpaku? That's so cringe, it's not funny. Behe ofkaro.
Oh, I mean, for me, mō kuake, when I see the tūpāpaku literally being carried into the whare with someone at the back with their phone held up high in the air, I'm just sitting there in disbelief, to be honest, and we need to have a tikanga that says, we have our tikanga at our marae, no gang patches, smoking areas over there, and no live phones during tangihanga or something like that, something with that context, because it just... But you kind of, whānau in Aussie that can't make it, or whānau ki tā wāhi that can't make it back on the flight. I gasp at it.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by it, especially if they haven't asked and there's just an assumption or perhaps an even sense of entitlement that they can do that without even thinking. It's probably so ingrained in some of our practices these days. We just flip the phone and start snapping, but... Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We put all the signage up for some of the things we want to control before it actually gets onto the physical environment.
Yep.
That can be part of it. No live videos. No live videos perhaps during hui mate.
What does live videoing do, though, to takahi our tikanga? because it's just another form of the kumara vine, like just being devil's advocate here. What's wrong with it? What is the wrongness about that, though? Is it an intrusive?
I think there's levels of intrusivity that happen anyway. What living it can do is remove the pause time between being able to discern whether this is a good idea, or perhaps we should buffer this somehow. Should we give it a bit of space? Should we just let the whānau grieve in private? Those sorts of things. Do we need to show people grieving just so we can be cool on social media, or hook up the kizzies and Aussie? I have thoughts around that, and these are my personal thoughts. I think if you're going to live overseas, you have to accept that part of that decision is that you may not make it home for a mati. That's just how it is, and that's kei te pai. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying you should stay home because you're going to miss your mati. I'm saying if your life decisions take you elsewhere, you have to realise that that's probably the price, part of the price that you pay, that you may miss out on your mati. And I've been party to plenty of situations where whānau couldn't make it home on time, and they.
Me too.
And the whānau's agonising whether they hold the body for another day or another 2 days. And sometimes it's manageable. Other times you've got to say, well, Nani and Koro have been here for the last 3 days, and look at them, they're thrashed. They're not going to say no. I'll say no for them because I'm worried about their health. Because you know what? If there's another mate next week, guess who's here? Guess who isn't? So there's little weights and balances around that whole conversation, but that would probably be my first thought on that.
Absolutely. And let's have the conversation. Cuz you've been in Aussie for 10 years. Make sure you have a X amount of pūtea built up, so if anything happens, boom, you can come home, So sometimes it's that sort of kōrero.
Hard out, or you're coming home in something the size of a coffee cup, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, koena. Matua, hea ho whakaaro. Have you been in those situations, Matua?
A few times. Yeah, to me, for te hunga e noho ana i tā wāhira, whakaaro au mo te kanohe kitea. You see the face, you know the family, you know the hapu, you know their marae, you know the iwi. Right? You can't see that looking at a phone, He wairua kei reira, neha. But he roto e te wai o pūkora kao. And, to me, it's just, if they can hold that at the tangihanga e Tūrani, and they have that ruling again at the kingitanga and the paukai and all those things, why can't all maraes do that? And just have a auahi kore sign outside the marae. Same thing with your waia pūkoro, waia kore.
Yeah, or seek permission first.
Seek
It may not be
permission
a hard
first.
and fast zero tolerance sort of thing. It may be you need to seek permission from so-and-so or representative of the marae. No, don't go to uncle who's been at the marae for 5 days and he's naked and he probably really won't want to, say no to someone.
And one person doesn't hold the mandate for the whole of the hapu. Even though your uncle might say, oh, it was all right, my uncle said everything.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
there's more than just one uncle here, eh? Hari te pātai atu te toinga e noha nei te pai tapu ngā kaimahi roto i te kāutara.
Now, what if the person doing the recording is a nani or a kraua or, exactly.
Well, to me, if they're a nani and a kraua, I ahu mai ke rātou i te ao Māori, they should know that it's wrong.
Well, I've seen the nannies. And I'm not going to tell them to put their phone away. I'm too scared. So, waiho manga kaumātua hei tohu i a rātou.
Ka tatari kia mate no ke rātou neha. Achi mata no we tahi ture hou.
Honestly, if they're my whānau, I'll just cut them straight off. Did you ask permission? Oh, so-and-so is. But did you ask permission?
Yeah.
Who did you ask permission from? Is it kei te pai? How about we just turn it off and make ourselves safe and think of the safety of others?
Kia ora, ka pai. It's an ever evolving ao, this world of social media and marae. And as a communicator and a broadcaster, I'm all for communicating and getting messages and informing, but then there's like a line that is like in front of me going, navigating both worlds.
I was having a little quippy conversation
yes.
with my girl.
Oh, neat.
And I was just sort of being tongue-in-cheek with her, and I think it might have gone over her head. But and admittedly, I had to look into these things a little bit more. Now there's an actual addiction attached with sort of like the fast feed stimulating kind of environment that we live in, which... what do you call it? Elicits hormonal response, which makes it very difficult to deal with if you're not sort of conscientized into what's happening around that sort of stimulation that's entering your mind.
Like a dopamine hit.
And how it's affecting your tinana, which just creates a big circle. And I think there's part of the conversation too. If we're not reflective on our practices and or what's happening to us internally with our own tinana and how our tinana is responding to this stuff, it's a hard conversation to try and get people to think about. So like I said, I'm really glad that we're having this conversation here.
Yeah, I mean, as a branch to this kōrero we're talking about e te whānau, I mean, I tell my partner, like, come on, man, like, put the phone down. Put the phone down and let's have a conversation. Because you know why? When we go to dinner, like, say if we have a date night, the conversation's beautiful. It's flowing. We don't have our phones. It's how are you? And I says to him, you know, why aren't we doing this in our living room? And me pono taku kōrero. I don't. Maybe it's just the habitual thing that Nairo touched on. So that sparked that for me when you were talking to your...
Habit-forming stuff, eh? You know, just whip it out and start scrolling.
Start scrolling.
Pretending that we're the centre of the universe and that we've got 100 messages to answer every half hour. No, honestly, it's fun. I'm the West. I'm the West for that sort of crap.
Oh, this has been really interesting. Ka pai e te whānau. Matua any whakaaro before we go for a quick break?
Go for the quick break.
Pai tū, pai hinga, Paewhiri.
E te iwi nau mai hoki mai ki Paewhiri, anei aku hoa e pōhirihiri nei, āringa engari ka riro māku te wahawaha i ngā mihi kia koutou. Nau mai hoki mai ki Paewhiri e te whānau. You can hear our stories from today and from before and forevermore on podcast at rnz.co.nz e te whānau. Now, I wasn't kidding about not being able to remember all those platforms, but if you know what the platform is, e te whānau, and we're not on that platform, it's not worth listening to, please delete that platform off your phone. Anyway, talking about phones e te whānau, so our kaupapa today has been about device usage,
Going live at the marae.
annexation around live feeds at hui mate. Probably primarily hui mate that we've concerned ourselves with today. Hui ora is probably just a different level of discussion. And I guess the difference between hui ora and hui mate is that hui ora you can anticipate and you get a lot more planning space and thought to be able to put into a hui ora because you can set a date, whereas hui mate, you're caught on the fly. We were just talking off mic a little bit about how heartening it would be if whānau and marae out there are just having the conversation. If they haven't had the conversation, you know, I start asking questions as a hapu, as a marae, as a whānau. You know, what are we happy with around some of the device usage, what goes in, what goes out, and how some things we can manage, and where if we allow things in, like devices and that with live filming, are we happy with a certain level of not being able to direct those narratives?
Ka pai. Because remember when Auwahi Kore, no smoking on the marae was...
No wahi kore.
No wahi kore. And I thought, how on earth are they going to do that? Cut to 2025. And if you're... That's the theme
I'm
of
doing
the
a
show.
himene for, no wahi kore.
Yeah. But cut to 2025, if you're smoking it, you know, you're like a leper if you're seen with a cigarette. I mean, vaping is... you know what it is, but anyway, that was a rule that's tūturu today. Well, most marae that I've been to.
I think when they brought in the law about smoking and that, you go around to most of the big huis and everything, you're lucky to see anybody smoking.
Isn't
How
that
many
beautiful?
people did you see down there at Turangi smoking?
Kore.
Probably catch the vapours.
Maybe vapours by the car park, a couple.
Yeah.
But honestly, out of like 200 Māori, maybe a couple vaping, no cigarettes that I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, that law was laid down. Probably we could apply the same thing on our maraes.
Wow.
Lay the law down,
just
let
saying, if
them
you
know
had
no iPhones on the marae.
Koena.
You might just want to establish some contexts or types of hui that you want to limit usage, limit I guess, the access to what's going on. And then it just gives the whānau some breathing space to understand, okay, you have access to these koro, you have access to things like minutes and that of our hui hapa and stuff like that, but not necessarily any audio recordings, because that's taken for a different purpose. No need to do liveys because you need to come to the hui.
Come to the hui.
Those sorts of things.
Come to the hui.
Come to the hui.
The old people say, if you can't retain the kōrero that's in front of you, then maybe it shouldn't be for you.
It's not for you, yeah.
Ooh, that sounded like a final whakaaro matra.
Actually, it was.
It was, okay. Let's go straight in.
When I go back to Huckers, I'm not allowed to record the wire so I can carry on learning when I'm driving home? No, Carl?
Actually, that's a good point. If your tutor says, because the festival's coming up at Te Whānau, the festival, Tauranga Moana Tauranga Tangata Festival, 3 weeks' time. As a tutor, do you think we should be allowed to, permission's given, that's okay.
Some of the rōpū, they don't allow recordings.
Yeah.
Because they want to manage, what could possibly be let out there. We've been through some of the experiences where that has happened against the wishes of the tutors, which meant, okay, we've got to do a whole new item, or we've got to do a whole new portion of our bracket that went out, because we didn't want that viewed before the event. We were saving that for the event. But no, you get some people with just kore tikanga, no scruples around that level of letting things go. So, yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing, man. It's a thing e te whānau. Okay, started final for, actually, just for
brevity.
Kata purposes.
Final whakaaro.
Pai tū, pai hinga, pai whiri.
Okay, te whānau, this is my final whakaaro. I think I mentioned it before. It's a line. There's a line in the sand e te whānau. Which side of that line you are, I can hupeke ki tēnei taha and then go onto that side, to be honest. So social media is, it's part of my life. It's how I communicate with whānau, how I keep connections, just understanding that there might be other rules that people put in place and you have to respect that. It's a matter of respect. There you go, final whakaaro. I don't know.
R-E-S-P-C-T.
Okay.
Ka pai e te whānau. I think, kia oku whakaaro me hoki tātou ki te koro mo te mona tikanga. Mona kawa, mona whakahaere I roto I nei tū momo hui. So specific to hui Māori, I think there should be some guidelines around there, if not full-on prohibition of use of what do you call them, devices, or the ability to live feed external to the hui. I think the mana of the hui needs to sit with those running the hui, and if you're participating in that hui and you're not the mana of that hui, then you need to engage with the mana of the hui to understand what you can do and what you can't. I don't think it's acceptable, even in today's day and age, to just assume you can walk into these spaces and just let it rip. Yeah. Kia ora te whānau. Kia kahara.
Kia kaha.
Put the damn phone away and listen to the karanga.
We should compose a song about putting phones away, something like...
Put the phone
like
away. Put the phone away.
It's
time to put the phone away.
Okay, and on that note, we're going to whakakapi.
E te iwi e tēnā rā kōtau I whakarongo mai nei ki tā mātou whiringa kōrero. E tēnei rā ko Paewhiri e mihi nei ki a kōtau, ko mātou, ko Heuheu, tūt, ko Tasi, ko Nairo, e mihi atu nei ki a kōtau. Tēnā kōtau e whakarongo pīkari mai ki tā tātou kaupapa I tēnei rā. Kia tukuna anō nā mihi o te rangi me te whenua ki runga I a kōtau, ki nā maunga whakahi ki nā wai tuku kiri, kauri ana wai I kauria e o tātou tipuna, takahia te whenui, takahia e rātou. Hikoia a kōtau kōrero, ki te ao tūroa. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Anei te mihi ki ngā kaupūkaha oro, kia Phil Benj, rātou ko William Saunders, ko Mark Chesterman.
Tēnā koe te tumu whakarai o Moana Radio a Tākiri Butler.
Kia Shannon Honui Thompson, te tumu Māori ki RNZ National.
Mēnā he kōrero wau, tēnā tukua mai I tētahi imera ki podcast at rnz.co.nz.
pai tū, pai hinga, pai kare, pai whiri.